That's funny.
And good evening, WNBA and women's basketball fans, and welcome into a abbreviated edition of the WNBA 365 Network, your 24/7, 365 comprehensive home for everything revolving around the WNBA and the rest of the women's basketball universe. Back with you folks tonight on another edition of WNBA 365 Olympic Games Central here for Monday night, August the 15th, 2016. Two-man game equals a 30-minute program, and also with no games to get to from today in the women's basketball event. We can just get to the quarterfinals matchup for tomorrow and get ready for the knockout round and quarterfinal rounds now of the tournament. Good evening, folks. Alongside Crystal Thomas, joining us tonight up in Los Angeles, California. Cal McClure joining you folks here from Studio 171 in San Diego. KT, always good to see you. How's it going tonight?
It is going well. How are you?
Everything is A-OK. Nice to, again, be back with you folks again this evening. Like normal, folks, as always, Facebook, Twitter, and the live chat box are wide open for you folks, so go ahead and hit us up on Facebook over at facebook.com/WNBA365, or hit us up on Twitter at WNBA365 at CalamaC3, or at Pup1010 with the hashtag WNBA365, or if you are viewing us live tonight, hit up the live chat box. We'll get to your questions, comments, or concerns when we have a break in the action. With that, Chris, we'll get to some quick WNBA news that happened over the weekend. Again, this report came out on Friday, but this has been reconfirmed, sort of been confirmed, but of course sent back out though by the AP and by Fox Sports. But some WNBA news, folks. Connecticut Sun GM Chris Senko has announced he'll be stepping down from his position after 14 years at the helm of the team. Effective September of this year. He also holds the titles of both Sun Vice President, COO, and the alternate governor of the team organization. He will leave those positions at the end of the month of September. He was named GM of the Sun following the Mohegan Tribe's purchase of the former Orlando Miracle and the subsequent relocation of the club to Connecticut in 2003. During his tenure, they were the first team to become a profitable franchise, and they reached the league finals twice under his guidance. But since then, though, folks, the Sun are now currently 8-16 in last place this year. The team has finished at the bottom of the conference the past 3 seasons and hasn't made the postseason since they lost to the Fever in the conference finals in 2012. And Crystal, probably a move that I think we may have seen coming, perhaps, in regards to, again, how we have seen the Sun. And Crystal, I always bring this up, though, about championship hangover in pro sports is, whenever you win or lose a championship or you get close to winning one, you feel that heartbreak or disappointment or depression as a loser of the league final, or you feel the euphoric or all the euphoria and all the high points and the high life basically when you win the championship. But Crystal, you can kind of see that since 2012, the Sun have kind of been rocked by the loss in that 2012 season, also with some injuries, the retirement of Katie Douglas after 2014 also. Crystal, what is your overall thoughts about Chris Senko finally saying enough is enough and he's going to be stepping down from a lot of positions with the Sun effective September of this year?
I think with the Sun being such a young team, I think it might affect them as far as them trying to scramble and find out who can fill that personnel position. Hopefully for the Sun, it doesn't let them lose focus of what they need to focus on. And like you said, losing for so long and losing out when you had a pick like Tina Charles go elsewhere and ultimately trading your pick away to a team that's 21-3 this season, who's probably going to get your first round pick because of a trade. I guess there's only so much you could take. And, the thing is, we don't know if this was a personnel move saying, resign or we'll fire you, or if this actually just came from him just, I guess, trying to figure something out.
And Crystal, you bring that up here, and I know we've seen 2 instances of that already in regards to either resign or we're going to fire you at the end of the season, has sort of come to fruition with what we've seen recently. Of course, Brian Agler, the longtime head coach of the Storm, resigning, but ultimately was fired more than anything else, and then took the job at the LA Sparks when they promoted Jenny Busek to the head coaching role. So, Crystal, we've already seen this twice, though, in regards that we've seen Agler fired, or we've seen Ann Donovan as well, the former head coach of the Sun, also in this kind of predicament. But again, Crystal, there's going to be a lot of places and things to fill voids in regards when Chris does call it quits in September. Again, you have to find a new vice president, a new COO, plus a governor of the organization, plus a GM, Crystal. That's 4 positions that are so vital in pro sports that you need to fill. And Crystal, I probably would assume, though, in regards to this, what do you think, though, normally, or what do you think probably is going to happen in this case? Are they probably going to talk to other personnel across other front offices, or will they probably look internally to promote people to those 4 spots? What do you think is more logical in your mind, and why?
I think they'll do probably a little bit of both. I think they'll look within the organization to try to keep it familiar to certain players, certain staffs, but at the same time, sometimes you have to go out and look for different people to see if they can make something better. So I think it's going to be a little bit of both.
Although, Crystal, it's fun of the negativity, I guess, towards how the Sun have been under Chris's watch since 2012 and that loss in the postseason. Senko has meant a lot, though, to the women's basketball community, Crystal, in regards to how he's been a part of all the committees that have picked the Olympic team recently. He's been pretty much a fighting member too on the forefront for the inclusion of the league. Of course, like we said, him and the Mohegan Sun Tribe, of course, were able to get this team profitable, the first WNBA team to become profitable in under his watch after they brought the team in 2003. Of course, they went to the league finals in 2004 and of course faltered in 2012 in the conference finals. But again, Crystal, there's a bigger picture, I think, when you think about Chris Senko specifically, again, in regards to women's basketball in general, in regards to the college level. Of course, how they have kept some of the UConn talent in Uncasville, again, about a half hour east of downtown Hartford and Storrs, where UConn, of course, is based. I guess, Crystal, in spite of what maybe has gone wrong for Senko's team lately, what about his impact, though, on the women's basketball game, though, more specifically in regards to Team USA, and also, again, of how he's been kind of at the forefront for the WNBA and women's basketball as a whole?
I mean, I would say he had a pretty big impact. I mean, I guess that's why it came as a shock that he was resigning, if you will. I don't think anyone saw that coming, especially not now, especially with all that's going on. But I think for a lot of women's basketball fans who do know what he has done, it's a shock. Especially when you see that Connecticut team, they seem like they, give them a couple of years, they probably will be in the playoffs sooner than later. So I think for a lot of us, we were just kind of surprised at the fact that he resigned and at the fact that he's doing it now.
Again, folks, WNBA news during the break again. Connecticut Sun president, vice president, GM, and COO, along with assistant governor for the Sun. Again, Chris Senko stepping down from positions following the conclusion of the season, effective September of this year. And again, a lot of great things from Chris in regards to the Sun. But, of course, 3 pretty rough years for CT. We'll see him again stepping down after, again, being the team president and pretty much the backbone of the Sun franchise for the past 13 seasons. With that, Crystal, back onto the Olympic stage again. Qualifying round over, quarterfinal knockout stage underway tomorrow. 4 games on the menu tomorrow, beginning across all of the arenas in Rio de Janeiro. But of course, Chris, before we get to the talk about the quarterfinals, Crystal, KT, how about your overall final takeaway on the opening round? Again, we saw, of course, Team USA goes unbeaten once more. The Australian team, of course, proving to be a very worthy 1B or number 2 team behind Team USA. And, of course, Senegal makes their first ever appearance in the Olympic Games. Crystal, how about your overall final thoughts on the opening round of play in the women's basketball event in Rio de Janeiro?
It's been pretty hectic towards the last couple of, I guess you could say, days for the Olympics. But I feel like now that it's for all the marbles, it was for all the marbles anyway, but now that you're really getting down to the games that matter right now, I think it's going to be even tighter. I expect teams to play Team USA heavier than what they've been playing them. I feel like there's going to be a lot of competition, and I think now we're about to see what these teams are made of.
With that, folks, we began this Olympic tournament with 16 teams. We go from the Sweet 16 to the Elite 8. Only 8 sides left to determine the gold medal, silver medal, and bronze medal winners of the Rio Olympics. Of course, Crystal, the 8 teams that did qualify for the quarterfinals: Australia, Serbia, Spain, Turkey, Team USA, Japan, France, and Canada. Crystal, if you were to sort of, I guess, outside of Team or probably across the whole field, Crystal, who in your mind is probably the biggest wild card that is in the Elite 8 right now for the gold medal in your mind?
The biggest wild card. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I would say Japan. but like I don't know. I don't know if they're the biggest wild card. I just think it was unexpected for them to get as far as they did. I think many people were expecting Brazil to possibly be in the top 8, but I don't know. I would say Japan only because I don't think anyone expected them to get as far as they did.
You know, Crystal, I'd agree with you with Japan. Maybe even Turkey probably belongs on the list too, with Turkey really only having one notable name in Laura Saunders, of course, from the Mystics again. I would agree with Japan, and also I would even throw Turkey in that mix on probably as well, because those are probably two teams that we probably did not really assume that would probably get into the Elite Eight or medal round stage of the Olympics this year. Of course, we knew that Team USA was going to be there. We knew the Aussies would be there. We knew Canada was going to be there as probably as a distant third, perhaps. We knew that France would be there. But again, Australia, Serbia, Spain, Turkey, Team USA, Japan, France, Canada, the final 8 teams that make up the quarterfinal round for the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. And Crystal, as we kind of go through each match now again, 4 games tomorrow, folks, and Team USA will be playing at 7 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow on NBC tomorrow morning here on the West Coast. With that, though, Crystal, Australia will take on Serbia in the first matchup for the quarterfinal stage, again, beginning tomorrow. Early morning, it looks like, again, but again, that time difference between the Pacific time zone, plus as well with the Rio time change as well, is a bit rough. Players to watch for you folks is Liz Cambage for Australia, averaging 22.4 points per game, also has 10.2 rebounds per game, and of course as well Penny Taylor, 4.8 assists, and also has 1 steal per possession. For Serbia, it's 3 players for them to watch between Sonja Petrovic and both Ana and Malika Dobovic as the 3 players to watch for the Serbian side at this time. And also looking over some more numbers, folks, as well. Just notably at this point, both teams biggest lead averaging between 12 to 15 points. That is a 15-point biggest lead average for Serbia and 12 points for Australia. Looking over some of the other scores or some of the other notable numbers, that's pretty much it. So again, Crystal, the Aussies will again draw Serbia first matchup. Crystal, who do you have winning? But also, give us your thoughts and a preview, I guess, of this matchup, along with who you think has this victory, or who you think gets the win and moves on.
For, you said Australia versus Serbia?
Yes.
Australia. Serbia is a tough team. I mean, they're in there. I didn't know if they were actually going to be able to make it there, but I say Australia. I don't know if Serbia has enough firepower to exactly put it to Australia like that, but if they do, that would be probably one of the greatest upsets in Olympic history.
Crystal, I'm going to go with Australia as well. I think that more so it's probably going to be post-presence in regards to, again, the Aussies using the Cambage effect, or factor, I should say, with their 6'7", 6'8" frame again. And I'm not sure if Serbia really has the bodies or the height to really attack her and keep her out of the paint, of course, with the different rules in FIBA. Of course, you can go over the cylinder in this league, in these games as well. But again, I think as well, not only the size though, but I wonder though about perhaps the transition game, if the Aussies want to move, if the hopefuls want to try and play more of a up-tempo offense. But I guess I would also agree though, Crystal, in regards to that Serbia probably not likely picked to move on in this stage as well, I'd probably say, in regards to how they've sort of been a wild card factor as well. And I think though, as I kind of look at things though too, in regards to the rebounding differential being at plus 5.2 for Australia, again, 37 rebounds per game, 32.2 averaging for Serbia. So I think that right there is also a pretty big factor too, is if the Serbs can get enough boards against Australia, they may have a chance. But again, I think though as well that again more than likely I'm going to go with post-presence more than anything else. And in spite of the fact though too that the Serbs have a advantage though in steals and in blocks, they are facing Liz Cambage down low, and that could be a different problem, or it could be a problem though for Serbia in this contest. But again, that is Australia-Serbia first matchup tomorrow. Next game, Crystal, is Spain and Turkey in this matchup. Game 2 of 4 on the menu tomorrow again, and Spain led by Alba Torrens at 18.6 points per game, and Aston Nador 9.2 rebounds in the game, or in general. And again, Turkey led by Laura Saunders with 22 points per game at this point. And looking over some more of the key numbers to know in the some other key notes to know, Spain is led by as many as 20 points on average through their games so far, and again, could be a factor. But I guess, Crystal, what about Spain and Turkey? Who do you have winning and why? And also thoughts about the matchup as well.
I'm going to go with Spain. Like you said, I mean, they have two more people to actually do it for them. I can't pronounce her name, so I'm not going to pronounce Marta's last name because I'll butcher names. But
Chagre.
what he said, I just don't think Turkey. We said earlier that Turkey just didn't look like they had enough firepower, and I'm actually surprised that they made the tournament. They started off pretty slow, but this is cliche, but let you know it's not how you start off; it's how you actually finish. And they actually managed to do a pretty good job, and they're in the final eight. But I'm gonna say Spain takes that one.
Yeah, Crystal, I think that, sometimes, numbers can lie or be deceiving, but in this case, the numbers don't lie in regards to, again, of how Spain has played again. Their biggest thing, though, I think, is going to be fast break points. Again, they had 12.8 or average 12.8 fast break points in their 5 opening round matchups. So if they get out and run, this could be, a very long day at the office for Turkey again, and also the fact again that Turkey's only really had Laura Saunders really being their big player, stepping up in big situations. But again, behind Torrens, you got Vidor, you've got Chagre, you've got other players and pieces for Spain. So I think, though, again, it's another one of those instances, Crystal, again, of a team being just a bit, just being a little bit more talented or a little bit more loaded with talent, I should say. And again, we're one team has to rely on one player to really carry the load. But again, Spain and Turkey is the next matchup again tomorrow. Then again, the third matchup again is Team USA and Japan. Team USA, far from being tested in any of these games played so far. They own pretty much everything so far across the comparison for this one, led by a 14.2 points per game performance from Diana Taurasi, 6 board on average from Maya Moore, 6 dimes from Sue Bird, 2.6 steals from Moore, and also 1.6 blocks per game from Brittany Griner. Team USA has led by as many as 44.8 points on average in this tournament so far, and has led for almost 38 minutes of the combined games, and pretty much owns everything else in regards to other stats to know. And for this one, and Japan again led very well though by Yoshida and Ramu Tokashiki of the Seattle Storm. But again, Crystal, another. Again, perhaps another game, though, it's going to be pretty tough again to maybe see the final line score here. And if anyone really cares, the last time Japan beat Team USA in the Olympics was back in 1976, 84-71. The last time Japan beat Team USA, last time they played in the Olympics was when Team USA beat them in 98, 108, 93. But again, Crystal, Team USA, again, just has a lot, all the firepower you can ask for, but also, again, that they have almost every single, offensive stat category in their favor except for free throw shooting and maybe turnovers, that they are, again, perhaps destined for a run here. But again, we've seen crazy things happen in the Olympics so far, a lot Team USA women's soccer. But I guess, Crystal, your thoughts on Team USA's opening quarterfinal matchup versus Japan?
I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because they should not come in with the attitude that any game's going to be easy because it's the Olympics. Anything can happen, but I do think they're going to win. It may be a close game, not a tight game, but a close game. I mean, a tight game is Team USA men versus Serbia. That's a tight game, but I think it will be a close enough game to the point where they'll bring Team USA some competition, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think USA is going to win that game.
Yeah, Crystal, this isn't going to, there's a difference, I think, Crystal, as you said, between a close game and a tight game. A tight game is like Team USA men versus Serbia or Team USA men versus France just a couple nights ago. In regards to it being a 3-point contest, it'll be close. Maybe close, you say, in Team USA's case, maybe say 8 to 10 points is being close. Maybe a bit more than that, but tight game is like 2, 3, 5 points maybe in this one, but both of us will go with Team USA. Then the next game for quarterfinal qualifying, Crystal, France and Canada. Should be a pretty interesting match between these two sides in regards to it being pretty much even. But Canada has a bit of a slight edge, though, in regards to some of the major categories, including time leading the game. And also for biggest lead, the combined biggest lead, folks, is 17 points between Canada at 10.6 and France at 7.2. Canada led, of course, by Kian Nurse, who's had a very outstanding tournament so far at 11 points, and of course France being led by Sandrine Gruda for their side. Crystal, pretty much even in regards to numbers, and by the way, head-to-head wise, Crystal, in the Olympic Games, last time these two teams hooked up, France beat Canada by 4 in 2012, 64-60. And then in 2000 in Sydney, beat Canada 70-58. So far, the last two matchups have gone in favor of France. But, Crystal, what are your thoughts, though, on this matchup, though, between these two sides for a spot in the Final Four and semifinal rounds in Rio?
Canada and France. Canada is a young team. They suffered. I think they have two losses. One to America, and I can't remember who the other one was to. It's been a long day. My memory kind of fades for me, but I think that Team USA loss took a lot out of them because they worked really hard. They were close at one point. But like I said, they're a young team, and especially in the tournament. I mean, they're young in the Olympics overall. I mean, this is I think their most medaled Olympic Games they've been in. So that just lets you know how far Canada has come as a country in athletics in general. But I would say France wins that one based on France's experience. I do think if you give Canada a couple more years, they possibly will be a team like France. I do think Canada's a little bit more athletic than the French national team. I think they can run up and down the court a lot better, but I will say experience is probably ultimately going to be the leading factor in why France gets this win.
Crystal, this is, I agree, though, with France winning in regards to, again, being, vets versus a up-and-coming, talented, up-and-coming, but very young team, though, in regards to, how we've already said. And we have talked about a lot when we have talked about the Canadians, again, is, again, how their age will be a factor for future games. But, again, they're facing a pretty low, not very low, but, again, a very talented, experienced team that's been there, of course, in France. And again, France and them have played two pretty close games in recent quarterfinal members. Again, back in 2000 and 2012, they played, two pretty close games, winning by again an average about 4 to 12 points in that range, about it being a final score. But again, folks, the four matchups to kick off quarterfinal matchups for Rio 2016. Again, Australia, Serbia, 7 a.m. local time in Rio, 10:30 a.m. game, Spain and Turkey. 2:45 game, USA, Japan, and 6:15, France and Canada. Again, the quarterfinal matchups for the Rio Games. Again, with the semis and finals to come in due time. With that, folks, before you wrap up for the night, I want to pass along a quick program alert for you folks. You are going to be actually off air tomorrow night. We'll be taking a little bit of a brief, taking a day off tomorrow. But we are, though, folks, going to be planning another pretty big show coming up on August 25th, in the works right now for a special extended edition 2-hour show recapping or getting ready for the second half of the season. We've already put out a mass email to a lot of our great friends, including ESPNW podcast host LaChina Robinson, to come join us perhaps. But again, we are working out details about that. But again, we'll have a second half preview show for the WNBA season being held on August 25th. Here, time to be determined. Again, that will depend, again, on the response we get from many of our great friends out there and colleagues that, again, are a part of our network team. And again, Crystal, this is sort of, in a way, kind of like an encore, I guess, to what we have, of course, built here, but kind of an encore, though, to the draft day party, of course, Crystal, where we had a lot of great responses. We had, 10 people in here. Of course, we've, again, Crystal, have invited a lot of those great people back, including, of course, all of our friends here. But I guess, Crystal, when we kind of, again, perhaps get this going again, Crystal, we talk about the draft party being a big show, but I guess, Crystal, where would you probably say that this show might rank, though, in regards to, again, having, a whole sea of humanity in here again, like we did back on draft day earlier on?
The preview show?
Yes.
I guess it depends. I mean, I don't think anything right now could really beat the draft day show because it was very successful, and we had people like Derek Hamby take their time out to come on, and Ruth Hamlin, and so on and so forth. So I think it depends. I think it could be up there, but I don't think it will be as big as that draft day show.
Yeah, I would agree. And again, folks, potentially, again, we're again, I did send out a nice little email to Eric and Crystal and everyone else that was a part of our draft day show. And again, we have also invited again one of our other great friends out there. But of course, you know her well from ESPN. But we have invited LaChina Robinson from Fox Sports Southeast and from ESPNW, of course, come on and join us too and to get her take as well. And again, Crystal, you know, like we said though, of course, you know, we look back on the draft day party. Of course, we had three members of the established network team here, of course, joining in with you, Eric, and myself, of course, as the host. And of course, we had Anila, we had Myron and Caleb, and other people again join us. But again, Crystal, now that again we're trying to, I guess, reach out to more league analysts again. I invited in LaChina Robinson again, who's a big name out there, of course, with ESPN and Fox Sports Southeast. Again, Crystal, and again, we're branching out to other people. Again, we've had players already on, but again, Crystal, again, now that we're reaching out to more and more notable names in the women's basketball media, where I guess can that kind of, can that sort of, those kind of people really, I guess, kind of take us to that proverbial next level to kind of get us up to another, level on the plateau for, exposure for this network?
I mean, yeah, I think having certain people in there who are in this business and who know how the business works, I think it can help the show go higher, and that's what you want to do. You want to go up. You never want to go down. So I think if she's able to come on, that'd be awesome. If not, that's still okay. People understand that, but I think it can help the show go up to great heights, and that's ultimately what we want.
One comment, folks, in the chat box, not from anyone normal, but good to see, though, folks, the LA Sparks PA guy, my man, Hootie Hoo, Huisha Bush, who just wanted to say great job, guys. So, Crystal, yeah, I guess we're doing something right here. If we got a PA guy saying what's up.
Hello, Hootie. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's what we want to do. We want it to be decent. We don't want it to go down, and hopefully he continues watching, and hopefully we doing a good job.
Yeah, so Hootie, you'll see us too at the Sparks game against Indiana on September 4th. I'm going to be there with two friends and our main guy Todd Mintz. So we'll drop by and see you after the game, and I'll go and find Crystal somewhere around the arena perhaps, and we'll go from there. But again, Hootie, nice to have you aboard though tonight. But again, we will be out though in the next couple minutes. But again, Crystal, I guess kind of looking back, I guess, as we kind of have though, Crystal, over the entire games itself in regards to again of how we talked about USA swimming. We've talked about, a lot of the other events, but I guess, Crystal, over the weekend, again, some other good stuff. Of course, track and field opening up. Usain Bolt is a madman on a mission again for the Jamaican national track and field team. Crystal, what caught your eye, though, in the other Olympic games over the weekend?
Definitely track and field, especially the race that happened today. Sad to make some people upset, but unfortunately that dive is legal, guys. But it made for a great race, but track is always my favorite event. I mean, I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow, but I was excited when they announced track. But other than basketball, track and swimming are probably my three favorite things.
Yeah, and Crystal, again, I know we've talked about Katie Ledecky, we've talked about Michael Phelps, we've talked about so many, great people that have done wonders so far for everything so far in regards to those events so far. And we've had a lot of really, we've had some other good things happen. Of course, we did have the first ever Muslim American wearing the fencing champion. The name eludes me, but again, she also made history. So again, Crystal, we've seen a lot of athletes, though, as we get ready to wrap up, though, Crystal, but we have seen a lot of athletes, again, become the first ever something to win a medal for this nation or this. So I guess, Crystal, what about the trend that we've seen, though, about a lot of barriers being broken, though, in these Olympic Games in Rio?
Man, that's why I love sports. Whether it's the Olympics, whether it's the WNBA, NBA, NFL, I love sports because although sometimes we may get angry and headaches over our favorite teams losing or favorite person losing or whatever, there's always these storylines. Like you said, the fencer being the first woman to wear a hijab in the tournament, Simone Biles and Simone Manuel winning their medals. It's just an amazing experience to watch. And I'm glad, honestly, I'm glad I'm able to see it right now. This is going to be something I'm going to be able to tell my grandkids one day, and I was here to actually witness greatness.
By the way, folks, a quick headline from women's boxing. The defending gold medalist Clarissa T-Rex Shields has her opening round fight, quarterfinals of the 75-kilogram women's middleweight at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesday morning. With that, folks, again, we are off tomorrow evening. We'll be back with you folks on Wednesday night to talk more hoops and also talk more about what's coming up, though, with the Olympics. And, again, we'll have more as well, though, about that upcoming second-half show coming up on August 25th. With that, though, folks, for KT, Crystal Thomas up in Los Angeles, Cal McClurg in San Diego, signing off. Till Wednesday, folks, good night, and see you on Wednesday. Good night, and bye-bye.